Next, we go to, before we go to our featured modeler, John Bate, I want to introduce Martin Brechbiel, MMR, and have Martin do one of his short segments on scratch building for us. Martin hadn't been feeling too good lately, but he says he's about 85% tonight. So Martin, thanks for coming, and I really do appreciate it.
Well, let's see if I can get my screen to share. That looks right. What do you know? It actually worked. I'm always amazed every time I do this that it actually works. Okay. This is probably too long a segment, actually, because this car takes a long time to build. So if I go too long, Jim, just throw something at me electronically. Let me know where to stop. This is the starting point. It's one of my usual starting points. It makes no sense at all other than there's a pile of wood, a couple of resin bolsters, and a chain hoist and A-frame from Crow River. I had this sitting in a shoebox next to the pile of other shoeboxes of parts, and I decided I have to do something with this because it's just going to sit here and get old along with the rest of me. And I think I can figure out something to do with it. So let's marry this to the pile of wood and some other wood, and we'll just use our imagination and go forward with it. Well, this looks totally unrelated, but this is part of what's going to be on top of a car. We have two sides, two ends. They're kind of different looking. That's the back end. It's the front end. Left and right or left. I can't tell from this. This wood is actually Western red cedar strip wood that I got from Kapler years and years ago. It's not really smooth and polished. It's actually a little rough. And so it has texture to it, which is kind of nice. And it also has some coloration. It's not that smooth albino white basswood. So it actually has identity already. I don't have to add too much to it. The rest is just 4x4s and 2x4s. And I decided, well, we need to have some more Western red cedar and some uprights. This is going to go on a car somewhere too. These stakes here and on the previous slide, those are actually going to define where the stake pockets go. I don't put the stake pockets on first and build to them. We'll build the sides and let the sides and the rest of the structure decide where stake pockets belong. That way I don't have to think about it too much. Basic framework that I like to use. This is actually scribed on both sides. Stock from Kapler. I have a pile of that I got years ago. It's actually rather nice because you get that nice scribed wood look, top and bottom. You can order it from them. I guess you can get it other places, but I'm not sure where. Trick here, of course, when you're making your own bolsters out of resin is to make sure you do drill and tap them before you put them on the car. Drilling and tapping them afterwards is possible, but it's really kind of annoying, particularly when you're on the tap through too far. You pop the thing through or the tap comes to the top of your car. You can see I've got the brass stake pockets. These are from they're All Nation. So they've only been out of production 30 years, but All Nation is coming back. John Wubble bought the company and he's bringing it back later this year with a little bit of luck. So he'll be having parts out there for modelers in O-scale soon. He's already putting out a lot of 3D stuff, printed stuff. So there's the two sides. They drop right in. Well, of course they drop right in because I use those to define where the doggone stake pockets are going to be located. So they better line up. There's little holes in here. There's actually nut bolts and washers. I drop into the holes as opposed to pins. And yeah, I use a lot of Tishi. This one's all Tishi parts, Tishi nut bolt and washers inside and outside, because if you can see the inside, you might as well put them on the inside. Just drill right through the whole thing, put one on both sides. Start putting it together. Well, here are the two sides dropped in. They drop right in. Here's your back wall, front wall. I haven't attached them yet. It's removable. So I took it back out, put it back together here, added a bench on the inside, all kinds of nut bolts and washers on the inside, outside, all around. And then that one wall, I decided, well, needs a door or needs an opening. Well, it's just strip wood. Sharp scalpel solves all problems with wood. You can just take it apart, cut a section out, put another piece of 4x4 to brace it up together. Don't worry about it. Add some Z bracing on the sides. I'm not sure where I got that from years ago. I think Evergreen still, not Evergreen, Northeastern still sells this stuff, but it's not cheap anymore. It's a lot of fun drilling a lot of holes and using a real fine, even an O scale, those are kind of small. So put it all back together and put it back into the stake pockets. I never actually glued this down. Ultimately, even at the very final end of this construction of this car, this end of it is actually could be removed if you really wanted to remove it. I haven't tried. I'm afraid to, actually. Might not be able to get it back on. But that's pretty much what it looks like so far. And we've added a few Z braces on each end here on the diagonals. That chain hoist is still missing. We'll find out where it goes shortly, I think. Another view from a different angle. And on the back wall, I had some more Z bracing. Why not? Something's got to hold that wall together with that workbench on the inside. Turned out the A-frame hoists for this that came with that kit, well, they're too tall, they're too narrow, they're too wrong. So they went in a pile and got dumped on eBay with a pile of other stuff I didn't want anymore. After I was done with this car, and I built my own. Just take some strip wood, some styrene, a bunch of nut bolt washer castings, and this is a styrene angle at the bottom. You just make your own. And this actually is the width of the car. This is the beginning of the roof. These are little roof truss rafter trusses for the rafters for the roof, and just piece them together. We'll put them all in place, one piece at a time. Loads of fun putting these together. These are all just 2x4s and 4x4s. This is the back wall one with the piece of red cedar on it. So that's going to be closed off at that end. So, well, next step, added some sliding doors to the outside, some more Z bracing. Z bracing is kind of fun to work with because nice thin boards, you can make sliding doors that actually slide. And these actually do slide. Laser cut ladders just added here. I think there's one on each side, probably on this one end as well. But all the doors actually slide in the Z bracing. And you can see the beginnings of the interior being detailed, and a coat of paint got thrown on it just so I could figure out where things were going to be going. Yep, the other side, you can see there's some more of that nice Western red cedar. You can see the nice coloration, and it just takes stain and everything very, very well. And another laser cut ladder on this end. And added a door to this side as well. Figured, well, every opening needs a door. You don't want to keep the riffraff out, and yet another ladder. And the beginnings of the interior. Well, this is some brown paint, some Minwax, a lot of dry brushing, some pigments, some chalks, and some other stuff. And the beginnings of populating the leftovers in here. See some resin castings. I'm not quite sure whose they were. And another view from that end. Okay, well, we'll flip the whole thing over before it gets too late and things start to fall off. And we put an entire brake system in just for fun. Just 2 truss rods on this car. I'm not quite sure why I did that, looking back at it. Steps at this end. This is a brake stirrup from US Hobbies. So that can tell you how old that is. But they're easy to make from just strip brass. You just twist and twist and twist, bend and twist some more. And I'm not sure, yeah, these are, I sprung for the precision scale. lever supports, lever hangers, and these are the last of my Chooch levers, which are no longer available. So I'm back to using my own resin castings. So can't leave it naked and empty on the inside. So everything I could grab off the workbench and out of the tools selection and the various things, I just painted everything so you could see it nicely. Nice, whatever this is, gear in the vise, hammers, more wrenches and pliers, a lamp, oil, gears, another anvil. You might want to really hit something really hard, like the person who assigned you this job. But I put, there's doors. Doors actually have handles on them and open and close now. And the obligatory naughty calendar on the wall. You've got to have a naughty calendar on the wall. The same calendar must be very popular on my road. It shows up repeatedly in many cars and some structures. And you can see there's where the A-frame is. And here's the beginnings of that hoist. This is the I-beam that came with the kit. I actually did use the I-beam. So you can see we've put the hoist. I kept the hoist. And this actually slides on the I-beam. Nice brake wheels. You got to splurge on brake wheels. But this actually slides back and forth and through here all the way down almost. So we've actually found a use for the hoist casting. And the beginnings of some red paint on here, more weathering, rust, etc. More stuff on the inside. You can see the tools, wrenches, etc. Blowtorch. I actually have one of these blowtorches somewhere. Never used it. And here's the roof. Gotta have a roof. It's all board by board. There's your rafters. These little pegs are for alignment. And this is doubled here because that's more for more alignment. But this just snaps in to the opening in the roof area of the cab there. There's the exterior of it. It's got a lot of gaps in it because it's something else is going to go over. That's not going to seal it. This opening here is left so that I-beam actually fits into that. So yeah, this little slot here. So this slides in, drops into the I-beam, and then these two pegs drop into place, and that's what holds it in place. We put a metal roof on, little strip over the top, populate the tools out here, another tool bench full of tools and miscellaneous rubbish, more stuff over here, a barrel or three. More of these two guys yammering each other. These are the brothers Daryl and Daryl. There's the third brother, Larry, inside. Actually, the guy who's doing the real work while his brothers Daryl and Daryl are out here discussing the weather or what have you. He's got pondering this gear and using the usual thing to fix whatever doesn't work properly, the largest ball peen hammer you can find. And different view from the same, different angle. And the semi-artistic view in the shade of him looking through the doorway. And you can see the roof. This is builders in scale, corrugated roof that I cut up into little pieces and put back together. That's glued down with goo and CA mixed together. It's not ever going to come back off. Brown paint, lots of other paint, lots of other rust, lots of pigments, lots of stuff. And that's it. I ripped through it about as fast as I could without losing my place too frequently. And here's where you find me. I'm not hard to find. And if you're in doubt, try Google. God knows I'll show up pretty fast. You'll probably get at least one of my 9 email addresses that way. And you got any questions about anything, let it rip.
Martin, the reason I'm so pleased that you volunteered to do this series is because you make scratch building look so darn easy.
Well, it isn't hard. You can make it hard. I mean, you can make anything as hard as you want to make it. It's being a little bit of laziness and a little creativity go a long ways.
Yeah. Well, and maybe more models will try it after they've seen how easy it can be done, because it's not rocket science. It's just take your time and be creative.
Well, I used to do a clinic building that basic flat car for the NMRA and other organizations. I think I only produced 175 of those kits. And you can still find them on eBay every now and then. It's hilarious when I see one. I follow it to see how much I lost on that one. But in fact, I just did that clinic in February because in my division, we have a facility where we could actually get together with limited numbers and do hands-on clinics. So I'm still teaching how to do a basic build. Here's a pile of sticks, build a flat car. You got 3 hours. You can do it. And most people did.
Martin, I guess one of the secrets to all of this and doing clinics is practice, practice, practice.
Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely. You know, the first time you do something, it's going to take a while, but I know I can knock out one of my own flat cars in about an hour and a half if I really work at it. I have seen it done faster. And I've seen one person come in to do my clinic who in Pittsburgh came into the clinic an hour late, grabbed the kit, sat down, cut it down to a narrow gauge car, and was done an hour later. Got up and said, "Thank you very much. I had a lot of fun. Bye." And the other 15 people in the room turned around like, "Who was that masked man?" I mean, you don't build that fast, but he was done and it looked beautiful. It was very impressive. So it's kind of gratifying that someone could knock out one of the little rough kit that I put together and that quickly and make something really nice.
Well, again, I really do appreciate you doing this because you make it look easy. It is easy. As long as you just try it, take your time, and just don't give up. Just keep doing it until you got what you want.
Well, yeah. Then the other thing is, since I'm doing mainly freelancing on most of my builds, not all, but most, you know, there is no wrong way. You make a mistake, don't worry about it. Back up and do something differently. It's not a dead end. There's no pit that you've jumped into. You can correct it.
I guarantee you, correcting the mistake is the best part of modeling.
All right. Well,
thank you so much, Martin, and we'll see you later. Hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Now,
or as Clark happened to say that you can hide the mistake.
Yeah, you just take the mistake and build it into something that looks correct.
Yep. Now